Hi besties, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a while since I've done a speed build or any kind of YouTube channel video. I took a little bit of a break, I went away, and I've just been really focusing on my Twitch, and I'm at a better place now where I'm happy to start making some YouTube content today. So I wanted to come back at it strong and create a not so berry inspired home for you guys to use if you were playing or starting to play the challenge. So obviously starting out with the base, I wanted it to be a somewhat modern contemporary style home, but also keeping it super suburban. This challenge was created by Always Simming and Little Simsy, and Simsy is very much into her blue suburban homes, so I kind of wanted to make a little bit of a reference to her build style and create a home that's really similar to what she normally builds. So the shell is pretty much there, ready to go, and that is sort of the basis of what we're going to do with the build. I don't think I changed this much, and I wanted to sort of keep it really simple, but also keeping sort of modern aspects into it as well. So the Not So Berry challenge has a lot of different rules. I'm sure a lot of people have already played it already, but I also know that it's becoming a little bit more popular again, which is awesome. I have played the challenge before, but I haven't played it the full way through, and I'm really looking forward to potentially starting that back up again once I finish my 100 baby challenge on my Twitch account. So if you wanted to check out me literally dying playing the 100 baby challenge, feel free to check out my Twitch. It'll be linked in the description. So the basic rules of the challenge is each air must represent a different color for the generation if you would like to, and each generation has a set of rules as well. Obviously money cheats can be used but not excessively, and you can live wherever you want. I wanted to keep this in mind when creating this home. I know the fact that some simmers love to just make those simple suburban style homes with those worlds, so I wanted to try and obviously keep that in mind when I was creating this house. At first, I wanted to keep it really limited with packs. I think overall it's pretty limited, but there are quite a few packs that I have ended up using because I just can't stop myself. I really wanted to keep it base game at some point with maybe 1 or 2 different packs, but then I decided to keep sort of adding different aspects, trying to get those mint colors. And I am obviously aware that some or most simmers that would be playing The Sims do have a decent amount of packs. So it's not every single pack has been used, but a lot of the expansion packs have been used, and also a lot of kits, and the stuff packs and game packs haven't been used as much. But in the description and at the end, I'll let you know which packs have been used and which packs haven't been used. And then obviously if you guys don't have any of those packs, then that item may be replaced with something else, or it'll just be deleted, and then you can add in whatever you would like from there. But the base part of the home, so all the doors, all of the windows, the siding, everything like that is all base game. So realistically, if you didn't have all of the packs and you just had base game, you could make the lot unfurnished and it would still come with all of those other aspects as well. So that makes it really good for any sort of new starters who are maybe wanting to start with a challenge. The Not So Berry challenge is very much a friendly starter sort of challenge. I think it was one of the first challenges that I personally did when I started playing The Sims and playing it more. So I feel like it's a really good starter challenge if anybody wanted to play a challenge in The Sims but wasn't really sure what challenge to start off with. Now at this point I have finished the house. I've put most of the windows in, and I wanted to move on to the landscaping because, again, as I've said in previous videos, I find landscaping to be quite repetitive, but also I don't find very much need for it in the sense that it is very repetitive, so I find it quite easy. I wanted to put the trees in first because I wanted to hide certain aspects of the build that I wasn't particularly happy with, and I also just wanted to see the sort of height differences between it, and then I'll come back later and do all of the ground covers and everything like that. So again, at this point, I was still under the impression that I was only going to do a couple of packs for this build. Obviously, as we go along with the furnishings, I start to obviously pick a couple more packs to add in, but for now we're doing just base game. I think I also put Get Together and a couple of other packs as well that I thought tied in well together, and thought if someone was to only have a limited amount of packs, this is potentially what they've chosen. But in the end, again, there are a lot more packs that I ended up using. This house is no CC. You might see in the menu down the bottom that there is CC. I do use CC in other builds or during my gameplay, but in my builds that I upload to the gallery and do speed builds of, I do not use CC unless I say it in the description or in the title of the video. But this build specifically, I wanted it to obviously be more versatile for everyone, and it's a bit tricky to obviously put CC in builds because you don't know what people have and what people haven't downloaded. So obviously no CC in this build, but the grand scheme of it, you could obviously change the furniture and put CC in as well. I do like using CC in these kinds of styles of challenges because it's very color based, and I love to just add a lot of color and sort of keep that theme of the color going within the generations. So I'd find CC to be really good for the actual gameplay part of this because you can get a lot more different color variations with CC. Obviously the Sims are slowly starting to bring in a lot more color combinations and patterns and things like that with different colors in it with some of their items in either new packs or old packs, but there's still a long way to go, and especially with this challenge, there is 10 generations worth of colors, so CC can become your best friend in this situation. So if you are thinking about playing the challenge and you are open to using CC, I would definitely recommend trying to find maybe a creator that specifically either has made CC for the Not So Berry challenge, or just most people have generic kind of colors that would match the theme of this build and of these generations in the challenge. So generation 1 is mint, and that is what I have decided to make. I was thinking, okay, if someone was starting out the game and they wanted to have a starter home or something that they could maybe work up their way up to, then this is a perfect home. It is just under 50,000 on the gallery, so it's not overly expensive to me. You could probably get that pretty quickly, especially since the first generation sim is in the scientist career, so you definitely make a lot more money straight off the bat. And obviously, again, because those 2 bedrooms upstairs aren't actually furnished, it makes it a lot easier to get that money eventually as well. So originally downstairs I was going to do an office space in this room here, but I decided to make it a lounge room instead because downstairs I didn't want to cramp it too much. So I thought it was really cute. You could obviously change this and make it like a second or a, fourth bedroom or a study space if you would like, but I thought this was kind of nice to have like a separate living space, but obviously with the archway. So it's still a little bit open, but it's also a little bit more cozy. This was where I started to think, okay, maybe I just try and not use as limiting of packs, but still try and keep it not using every single pack that the game has to offer. So now I've sort of gotten rid of that filter of the packs and I'm just going to use anything I want, obviously within reason, but there was a lot of items that I really wanted to use and wanted to try and use within this build, and it just wasn't working with the limited amount of packs that we had. Normally I would try and use a lot more cheaper items, but at this point I thought, okay, I'm going to keep the build quite cheap with not doing those other bedrooms, only doing the Not So Berry part. So then I thought, okay, I can splurge a little bit more and make sure that, you know, the build isn't super expensive, but also making it starter friendly enough that it is obviously cheap than if you were to get another build that's fully furnished and using really, really expensive counters and things like that. So you'll see some of the items will be more on the pricey side and other items will be more on the cheaper side within the kitchen, dining, living spaces, and even in the bathrooms as well, to try and sort of keep those costs down as much as possible. But again, you could always buy this or download this home unfurnished and then obviously furnish it yourself depending on how much money you have in your game. So I love this challenge. It's one of my favorite challenges that I've ever played. I love the differences in the challenge from other sort of gameplay related challenges that do legacy style. Generation 1 is Again, you are a scientist. Your traits as well as your aspirations are chosen for you depending on each generation. So for generation 1, which is mint, the traits you have to choose are vegetarian, jealous, and materialistic. Obviously, they're all green traits. And then your aspiration is chief of mischief to sort of tie in a little bit of that storyline. So it's really cool. There's also specific rules you have to follow as well. So you have to master the scientist career and also complete that aspiration. You have to master mischief and logic skills, and you also have to complete the elements collection. I have not actually put an elements item or the elements holder. I'm not really sure exactly what it's called, but that sort of object that holds all of those element cubes, I haven't actually put it in the build specifically. I assumed that if you were moving into this home with your sim, you would take that with you from your original starter home, or you would already have it in your inventory. Obviously, it can be placed upstairs or really wherever you want it to be placed, so I didn't necessarily want to add it into the world. I think that's more up to your discretion on if you do download this, then you can obviously put it in yourself and sort of choose that spot, but that is part of the challenge, and obviously it's your game, your rules in the grand scheme of things, so that's why I didn't end up adding it. This house obviously is advertised as a not so very home, but it can also be used as just a normal regular home, so I didn't want to add those aspects in to keep it super limited to just these gameplay challenges and things like that. So yeah, I wanted to sort of keep it basic, but also still keeping it very green, very mint colored, keeping it very neutral, so just tying into those aspects of the challenge, but then also keeping it by itself. So here are the screenshots. I am really obsessed with this build. I think it turned out really well. Again, I kept those bedrooms upstairs empty so you guys can sort of experiment and change those rooms if you would like as the challenge continues along the generations. This house could be changed to be actually the legacy home for real and forever, but obviously you can move around in this challenge. You don't have to stay on one lot, and later on in the challenge there is rules where you have to live in different worlds and things like that. So yes, enjoy the rest of your day and thank you for watching.